Joining us from Tokyo, we have Nicholas Smith, Japan strategist at CLSA Asia Pac, with us on the program. Nicholas, first off, let me ask you about these GDP numbers. Better than expected in your view, and has it been priced in already in the markets?
These are thumping good numbers we're getting here. I mean, 4.1% quarter-on-quarter. I mean, this is really good numbers amongst developed nations. That's right up at the top end. And you can see the comments coming out of that and saying, well, it's only because of reconstruction. And you've got to look at that reconstruction and say, look, they've budgeted over 20 trillion yen. It may well cost a lot more than that. So, you know, spending of 3 to 5% of GDP on reconstruction. And our experience out of Kobe was that what you'd spent came back as GDP growth over a 3-year period. So 3 to 5% divided by 3 is 1 2/3% tailwind. Why are people saying, well, that's all just one quarter? I'm sorry, I didn't see 20 trillion yen go into reconstruction in that one quarter. This is a multi-quarter thing.
Yeah, well, you saw a lot of trillions coming from the Bank of Japan to try to help stimulate the economy. But people are saying Q1 might be the peak, though, Nicholas.
I'm really not sure that it is. I mean, when I was trained as an analyst, I was told, look, whenever you get into a taxi, you talk to the taxi driver. You say, how's business? Where are you picking people up from? And you know, that kind of touchy-feely thing is what's dealt with very well by the Economy Watchers survey, which looks at all the most economically sensitive parts of the economy. You look at that series, it runs nicely ahead of topics, it runs nicely ahead of industrial production, and that's been pulling up quite sharply. So, I mean, I think that the market's been having a hissy fit for the last 6 weeks and worrying about all sorts of things, about Greece, where, you know, you look at Greece and it's 1.8% of PPP European GDP. This is the rounding error that roared, and we've got to remember that actually the market gets really focused on one thing, but the sell-off has been enormous. So look at the advanced decline ratio on topics, the Toraka. What is it, 64.9? It's only been lower than that for 2.8% of its rather inglorious history. So it's telling us this market is really sold off. It doesn't need a lot of good news to get it going again.
Well, okay, Nicholas, we also talked to our Bloomberg economics reporter in Tokyo. He says that most players in the market say that these better than expected GDP numbers already been priced in. So where do we go from here?
Well, I'm sorry, no. I mean, the market is essentially telling us we're right back down where Topics was at the start of the year. Now, let's take one source of earnings numbers, Toyo Keizai, which is basically the whisper number for the street. And the last set of Toyo Keizai numbers were looking for 60% growth in the in net profits for Topics this year. Now, that was put together when the yen dollar was at 75. We're at 80 at the moment. So, you know, the market's assuming we're not going to grow profits at all, and yet we've had some pretty decent numbers just out. The last quarter was up 4% quarter-on-quarter, but 23.5% year-on-year. So underfoot is good. Guidance is really pretty strong. And let's face it, Japanese companies, they are the most timid of forecasters. What they want to do is put out a really conservative number and then revise it up if things are okay at the interims in September. So they're producing some big numbers, expecting that those numbers are going to be revised up more. I'd go with that kind of thinking.
Okay, Nicholas, thank you for sharing your thoughts today. Nicholas Smith of CLSA.